American Civil War resulted in over 1.5 million casualties, according to the American Battlefield Trust. A casualty includes deaths, injuries, illness, wounds, or missing as a direct result of hostile action. Some historians estimate the deaths from the war at 600,000, 750,000, and even some up to 1 million. What made the Civil War so deadly? Advances in technology, like the submarines, torpedoes, Gatling guns, and more.
One thing humans have been able to do throughout history is improve the way that they kill each other. One adjustment to guns and artillery cannons was called rifling. Think of a knuckleball from a pitcher. It comes out on release, no spin, so there's no accuracy. Now think of a football player, a quarterback that throws a football with spin. It's pretty accurate. Same thing goes with artillery rifles and muskets used in the Civil War, carbine rifles. The rifling made every shooter more accurate, hence more deadly, leading to more deaths, more wounds, and more casualties in the American Civil War.
One of the leading causes to increase casualties in the American Civil War was the mini-ball, named after its French creator Claude Etienne Mini. The mini-ball increased accuracy through its rifling, but the same ridges that allowed for improved accuracy were more deadly for what these ridges carried along with them: disease. Once shot into its target, the mini-ball transferred germs collected from a soldier's march into its victim. Falling in dirt, body fluid, human and animal waste, the mini-ball was a harbinger of disease. It is an appropriate lesson for today's current focus on disease and germs and their deadly capabilities. Of all the battles of the American Civil War, the deadliest took place in Gettysburg, a town in south-central Pennsylvania. Here, two large armies, both fighting for home and country or sectional and financial interests, will meet for 3 days of intense fighting, resulting in over 50,000 casualties in what would be the turning point of the American Civil War. Even over a century later, remains of brave soldiers who fought were still being found buried in the fields surrounding the town, and over 2 million visitors come to experience the battlefield each year. In 1863, Gettysburg was a hub for transportation throughout the state of Pennsylvania, with many major roadways intersecting in the town. Historians compared the town to a bike tire, with over a dozen spokes meeting in Gettysburg. While many theories of why the armies met here exist, we know that both the Army of Northern Virginia's General Robert E. Lee and the Army of the Potomac's General George Meade did not want the battle to take place at this location, but fate had other plans. The leaders of the two colliding forces differed greatly. Let's meet them. Commanding the Confederate Army's Army of Northern Virginia, Southern Gentleman Robert E. Lee had amassed great regard as he continued to outperform Union general after Union general in the Eastern Theater of War. Lee was the son of Light Horse Harry Lee, a Revolutionary War officer and friend of George Washington, whose granddaughter Lee married. Lee was offered a position as an officer in the Union at the outbreak of the Civil War, but he chose state over country, which was not uncommon at the time. The term American doesn't rise to its prominence we see today until after the war. Today, you can visit Lee's home. It's the property of Arlington National Cemetery. After a failed attempt in 1862 to invade the North, his orders being found by the Union resulting in a stalemate at Antietam, Lee looks north again. However, while the Union had more men, resources, supplies, and railroad accessibility, Lee continued to win battles and is going to take his army north again in 1863, this time with momentum and confidence after his Chancellorsville win over the Union and General Fighting Joe Hooker. Lee is invading the North for 3 reasons: threaten the North in Washington, D.C., to take Philadelphia, and most importantly to Lee, take the fighting out of the South, whose citizens lost property, resources, and supplies, something Lee's army desperately needs. Lee and his army will approach Gettysburg from the north, coming from Cashtown, Pennsylvania. Lee is not going north to win another battle. He is going to win the war. Union general after Union general continued to fall victim to Robert E. Lee. Fighting Joe Hooker was the latest victim, and just a few days before Gettysburg, President Abraham Lincoln put the damn old goggle-eyed snapping turtle, George Meade, as his commander of the Army of the Potomac, nicknamed after his short temper. Meade, like Lee, was a Mexican War veteran. When awoken early on June 28, 1863, Meade initially thought he was being arrested as a result of Army politics. However, to his surprise, he was given command of the Army of the Potomac and the undesirable responsibility of taking on Robert E. Lee. This is evidenced by another man who earned fame at Gettysburg, John Reynolds, who outrightly turned down command of the Army of the Potomac. Now it is up to Meade. On July 1, 1863, Meade is in Pipe Creek, Maryland, putting himself between Lee and Washington, D.C. Meade wants the fight to happen here, but things change.
All right, so now that you got the background knowledge, let's pack our bags and head to the bloodiest battle of the American Civil War. Let's do this. Oh, almost forgot my mask.